there, crafty friends. It's Diane, the Creative Inkster, and today is Monday, May the 9th. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Time, time for a creative escape. Thanks for joining me. If you are in the audience live, please leave me a comment so I know you're here and we can chitter-chatter and catch up. And if you're watching the replay, please leave me a comment. I'd love to know who's been watching. And tonight I'm excited to share this fun fold with you. And I've got a couple of different iterations of it. This is the one that I received as a swap card, and it flip-flops like this. I really don't know the name of this fun fold. I'm going to call it the flip-flop. That's probably the name. Okay, it goes like that. This one's exactly the same, a few different dimensions on the paper, and a little bit different. Hi, Brenda. And it flip-flops the other way. Okay, so just a different way of doing it. And this one's also very, very similar. Instead of a flip-flop that you add in here, this just takes your card base that's normally 8.5 by 5.5. You trim off a piece. You have a flap that way and a flap that way. So same idea, only a little different. So I'm going to show you with the products that I've chosen for tonight a little differently. Let's see. I am going to use this designer series paper, which is called Flowering Fields. This side is lovely, I think, for this part. These strips here, I'm going to use the back. And then for the front, on this panel, I'm going to use the tulips. So that's where I had you just take a piece that's basically, I believe I put in the instructions, a 4x6. A 4x6 will be enough of paper that you need to make this card. On this sample, the person has put some other DSP under here, and that's an option too. I'll see how much I've got left and if I want to do that. So as you'll notice, this card in this iteration does not have a back to it. It's very different from this version, which will still stand up on the table. This one is more of a one-panel card. You could do that either way. So I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. So we need a piece of 5.5 by 4.25. This is Mango Melody, and I think it goes wonderfully with this paper. So you pick your pattern paper first. Hi, Dawn. And then you use your, pick your cardstock from there. So Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie. Sorry, Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie, I think is the way they are on this. And some white and some Evening Evergreen. So that's where I got my color scheme from. So 5.5 by 4.25, just a quarter sheet of cardstock. That's basically what we're working with. That's our card base. Then we're going to put a piece of white on top, and I'd already had this piece cut. So it's 4 by 5.25. Perfect. And I could put anything. I could have put the green as well. I just chose, actually, let me see if I have some green. I chose this because I already had it cut. Let's try the green. We'll audition the two and see which one we like best. So we need it to be 5.25 by 4. I can always put the white panel on the back for writing. All right, so there we're building this up. And then we need a couple of pieces of our pattern paper. So for our square that's going to go here, this flat piece, we're going to have a piece that is, sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. I don't want to do that. I want to go back to this and do the flap. So flap number 1, the larger one on the right, it's going to be 4 by 3.75. That's the size of paper we're going to work with. So 4 inches by 3.75. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to create a flap by scoring along here. So that's important. The flap on the other side, again in this Mango Melody, we're going to have at 3 inches by 2.75. So what's the best way? Maybe I'll cut this at 2.75. Trying to have the least amount of waste. by 3. All right, and then this flap will go over here, and it'll have a 1/4 inch border, and we're going to tuck those behind. And then we're going to take our piece of pattern paper that is, let's see, it's going to, we don't have another layer in there, so 3.5 by 3.5 is what we need. So I'll cut it here at 3.5. And if you've got directional paper, something to think about, 3.5 by 3.5, so that's going to go on this flap here. Remember, we're going to create a little tab that's going to go inside. And then for this side, I want a piece of, I want to layer this in the green and then some white. I wasn't quite sure which way I was going to go with that, or maybe I would do the tulips. No, I don't think they're going to show well enough, so let's do the green. So if flap 2 is 2 3/4 by 3, this will be 2.5 by 2.5. Always going in a 1/4 inch. 2.5 by 2.5. And then I've got a die cut that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. See how this is starting to come together? Oh, I know why she had white, because then, that's why, because we've got to show our pattern paper and we have to have somewhere to write. I don't know. We can do whatever we want. Let's put, I've got a lot of this paper. Let's put a nice full-on border in there. And if we want to change it up, we can change it up. So if I want a full-on one, I want 5 by 3 3/4. You can get this out of your 4 by 6 though. If I want this in here like this and my white panel on the back, that's what I can do. Or you can put your white panel in here and have some strips on it like this one is. It's up to you. I put the instructions for this one, but I want to play and change this up a little bit. Okay, and then that's going to go on the back. All right, so there's all the pieces we need. Now it's time to do some scoring. So this piece of Mango Melody, it's not square. It's 4 by 3 3/4. So with the 4-inch side on your 4-inch across horizontal on your score board, move it over to 1/4 inch and do a nice little score mark there. That's the piece that's going to go behind. You could make it 1/2 inch if you want. I decided just to go with a 1/4 inch, and I'm just burnishing it. I just grab my bone folder and burnish it here. So it's going to tuck behind. And then the other piece, again, it's not square. It's 3 by 2 3/4. Hi, Glenda. With the 3-inch side horizontal on the top, slide it over a 1/4 inch. And it doesn't matter what side you do because we can flip it over, and we've got a nice 1/4 inch tab now. Do the same thing, fold it over and use your bone folder to burnish it nicely in place. And that tab's going to go over there. All right, we're done with cutting. And the stamping is going to be really simple. So we'll do that all part when we get there. Let's start working from the bottom up. So on the back of the card, I'm going to put the white. I like my liquid glue. It works for me on many levels. And I think I've probably told you before, but if you use a tape runner, consider using our tear-in tape, because inch for inch, it's cheaper. So you get more adhesive and a stronger adhesive than you would for some of the others. It's just not on a lovely tape runner like this. You've got your tear-in tape, but consider doing that. But your best bang for your buck is the mono liquid glue. And let me tell you a little story about this. I was in Michael's picking up some fabric for my for a baby blanket that I'm crocheting, and I looked at this because I hadn't seen it in the store for a long time, and it was $11. Ours is $5.50. I mean, talk about your value, right? I was very pleased to see that. All right, so your Mango Melody with your white on the back, you flip it over, and then you take this first layer in, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and we add this guy in. And you can save some paper by trimming out the center if you really want to. I have a lot of this, so I'm quite good with that. Plus, I like the weight of this with the card. But you could put it on your paper trimmer and trim out a piece and use that for something else if you wanted, if you were short on paper. And then this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And we want to get our flap in there, so we don't want to get too carried away. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can put your flap on the rounded part here, or you can put it here, just like I've just gone ahead and glued it down, right? Of course I did. But you can go, and it doesn't matter if where you put it vertically on the paper. So I'm going to add some glue to both sides. That's another good thing about liquid glue. If you goof up like that and put your piece down and get carried away, you can still get in there and fix it. All right, let me get this guy in here. Who gasped when I did that? Right? Okay, so then you put your tab in there, and then it's going to flip open. And if you get some excess, that's okay. It dries clear. It's totally fine. Same on the other side with your other flap. If you want to center it top to bottom over this one, you can go this way. So once again, I'm going to put adhesive on both sides of this little 1/4 inch long tab. Bet you tear and tape would work really well for this. It wouldn't squeeze out, right? Move this guy over. Flip my edge open a little bit so I can get this guy in, because I got carried away. I just want to move him down to center him. There we go. Okay. All fixed. Goodness. Use your bone folder. It's a great help to get that to sit down. Boom and boom. And it's hidden. On this one here, the flap was put on the outside edge, like that. You could have put a piece over top if you like. So there's different ways, putting it in between, or putting it on the outside, or peeling it back and putting it in place like you saw me do. All right, now I'm going to put this pretty paper in the center here. Now the other option, had this been white on the inside, would be to use 1 1/4 by 3 3/4 strips at the top and the bottom. But I'm just going to do this because it's so pretty and I don't want to hide it. Sure. Could actually have done it the opposite pattern. This paper is great because both sides of each sheet coordinate so lovely together. Okay, we're building it up. The next one is going to be the tulips on this side. And you could layer this as many times as you want, but I wanted to use a good amount of this paper so I can see the pretty patterns. There we go. And then over here we have the green. Got a little bit of, if you have a little piece when you go to, when you cut it and it doesn't cut through nicely and you end up with a little piece, take an emery board and just on the back side of it, pardon me, you can easily get that little piece off there. It works better than with scissors, I found. That's going to go on there. And then my greeting. See how quick these would be to make? Like super fast. And I want to show you some new dies that I just got from the pre-order. And they're available in the new catalog up here, called Stylish Shapes. In the top corner, there's 6 circles, 5 squares, and 4 banners. All different sizes, and they're all stitched. So they're $41 for that whole set. I keep mine on these binder rings, and I just hang them up near my crafting die cutting station. But here we have, this is the one I used, these nesting squares that are stitched, which is lovely. Very much like some stitched shapes we used to have. These are called stylish shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a small circle. And if you're wondering, these are significantly different size, I'd say, to complement our layering circles. But they're stitched, right? So there's that one. It can go inside the smallest on the layering circles. So how much fun are we going to have with this? Very cool. And then there are the, oh, there's another square. I missed him. And then there are these banners. So I'm going to do a little cheat sheet so I know which one of my stamps in the catalog will fit with these. And I could do that a couple of different ways. But did you know that all of our stamp sets, unless it's marked differently, that is the actual size of the greeting. So, for example, this one here is the actual size of all the greetings in here. So I can take this and hold it over them and go, okay, which is the right one for what I want to do? Oh, well, that will fit on there, and this one will fit on there. And so you can just do that and know at a glance from the stamp sets you have which ones fit. Okay, commercial over. Let's move on to finishing our card because the adhesive should be dry by now. You'll be seeing more coming from these. I really, really like these. I think they're a great value at $40, $41. All right, so I'm going to put a greeting on here and some embellishments I suggested you have. And I'm going to work with the brushed brass butterflies. That's a lot to say. And a new to me stamp set. It was in the mini catalog that started in January, but I only recently got it. So I want to get one of these that will fit nicely, and I think I decided to go with You Are So Thoughtful, You Are So Thoughtful, Thank You. I do a lot of thank you cards. I have lots of people to thank. So I know this is a circle and I cut a rectangle, but I can be righteous with that. So there's my stitched. There's my greeting. It's going to go right on here. And I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. Hi, Val. Good afternoon to you, too. There we go. Love the photopolymer. You can see right through to see that you've got enough adhesive on there. Just going to line this up on the grid paper to give me a point of reference for centering it, or at least doing my best to center it. There we go. Didn't that turn out lovely? I like it. So now this just goes straight on here. I didn't use any dimensionals at all. These brass butterflies too, they look like they'd be heavy and thick and need a lot of adhesive to place them down, but that is totally not the case. When you get these in your hot little hands, you will see how amazing they are. They are paper thin, super thin, and they've already got adhesive on them, so you don't have to worry about glue dots or anything like that. You just pick them up with your, take your pick tool or my little, I use my old stylus here. I'm just kind of an old hat person, or your scissors, whatever you want. And you can stick a bunch of them on here. There. And we have our flip-flop card. I don't know. Does that sound like a good name? I just made that up. I like it. All right, so this was tonight's card. I'm going to post still photos. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for popping in. Oh, good. Thank you for watching the replay. Here is this card. I varied a little bit from my original instructions, which on the inside of this one had you making 1 1/4 by 3 3/4 strips with white, so you could write on the inside of your card. On this one, I just love that paper too much that I decided to do a full panel and then a piece of white on the back for writing. You could also, like I said, add a tent card, sort of look to it if you wanted to. It would flip open a little bit like that, but you choose what you want to do and how many layers you want to add on. And that is it. And here's the other one that I got in the mail. So thanks for watching, friends. I'm back tomorrow night to do another technique with you, and I wish you all a good evening. Bye for now.